Still no resolution in sight yet to the impasse resulting from the retrenchment of workers at the National Conservation Commission. But there will be a meeting on Wednesday at the Labour Department between management and the unions aimed at settling the impasse. Tensions were high again this morning as scores of workers gathered at the NCC headquarters at Codrington in St. Michael, with the union demanding that management withdraw termination letters sent to workers. Officials from the National Union of Public Workers and the Barbados Workers Union were locked in a meeting from just after 8 this morning for over 2 hours. Afterwards, NUPW Senior Industrial Relations Officer Wayne Walren gave the media an update on the situation.
I think what they agreed to, I think last week it was a case of you were uncertain whether you will get both parties involved so that you can have conciliation to hear both sides. But now it seems as though there's a commitment now to have it conciliated, so both parties would have to commit to the process of agreeing to making themselves available at the Labour Department so that you can hear both sides of the story and conciliate, hopefully to have a resolution to have the process corrected. So this is where we're at right now.
BWU Deputy Director of Industrial Relations Dwayne Paul is hoping that NCC management has changed their approach to dealing with the situation. He's demanding that fairness be the order of the day.
We are adamant that the process must be followed and must be respected by the management here at NCC. The meeting is tomorrow. Meeting tomorrow with NCC's board. Before they meet with us on Wednesday, they will determine how they want to go forward. And we are hopeful that when they come to us on Wednesday, that they are coming to adhere to the process.
Since government's removal of a fuel concession for public service vehicle operators at the end of March, some operators have been facing fuel bills of more than $1,400 a week for ZR vans and $2,100 a week for minibuses. This is according to Secretary of the Association of Public Transport Operators, or APTO, Cecil Ford. He made the revelation, that is, during an emergency meeting of the association at the Barbados Workers Union's Solidarity House headquarters, where he also said that APTO has been given a proposal by Rubis to help ease the fuel costs for members. He said APTO has written to Prime Minister Fandel Stewart to give it some consideration.
They have the technology where if government was able to give us a concessionary rate, and government may be concerned that the concession may not be given only to PSVs or the intended consumer. Rubis says to us that they will be able to attach a device to each vehicle and to a particular station pump, where unless your vehicle is equipped with that device, you will not be able to get your fuel at the concessionary rate.
Mr. Ford said the technology is extremely secure and he sees it as an alternative that can work.
Rubis also tells us that with this device, you will be able to have your tanks filled. They will be able to give us information as to the time you have your vehicle filled, how much fuel you purchase, and the time you purchase your fuel, and how long it takes to fill that tank, or how long it takes for you to transact that operation.
Barbados water resources are being put under strain because of the escalating number of grass fires across the island. This was one of the main talking points on the CBC TV8 program, The People's Business, last night. These scenes today in Cane Garden and Lions Castle, St. Thomas, are all too familiar in Barbados these days, with firefighters working day and night to control blazes across the island. Station Officer Henderson Patrick says not only are the fires pushing the fire services manpower to the limit, they're also stretching the island's water resources.
We've had about 785, almost 800 grass fires already for the year. If we do a quick calculation, you could find that somewhere in the region of 2.5 million liters of water. And this is just for one appliance. There are times when you have more than one response to one incident. So you can have Sometimes maybe 2 appliances, you can even have 3.
Meantime, the chief environmental officer says a stakeholder group has met to begin talks on how to control indiscriminate burning, which is now rampant on the island. Tyrone Applewhite says suggestions include an outright ban, restrictions, or legislative controls. Mr. Applewhite notes that the 1960s Health Services nuisance regulation is now outdated.
Because remember in 1969, that was the time when people were burning, you know, left, right, and center. But look at the equation today. The equation has changed significantly.
More houses.
We have in 1966 there were about 65,000 premises. Today, you have 102 residential area premises in Barbados. You have a population that is carrying a lot of respiratory ailments, allergies and so on. And then you have this urbanization of Barbados. I mean, once upon a time you had a distinct rural area, but now we are seeing, you know, we are moving into those particular areas. So burning refuse at home now today is something that, you know, we cannot tolerate anymore.
Regarding house fires, Station Officer Patrick says many are caused by overloaded circuits.
People have circuits established in their homes that are supposed to manage a particular level of appliances, and sometimes they inadvertently add more appliances to these circuits, demanding more electricity and putting a lot more burden on the circuit itself.
And President of the General Insurance Association of Barbados, Michael Holder, says they're worried that most of the chattel houses that burn are not insured. 3 witnesses took the stand on day 1 of the Barbados Defence Forces court-martial at St. Anne's Fort earlier today. On trial is Private Timothy Bancroft, accused of stealing a camouflage suit belonging to the Crown and issued to Private Motley J. The theft allegedly occurred on November 28th last year. Private Bancroft is also accused of escaping from the military police guard room on that same day. He is alleged to have boarded a ZR route taxi heading to Bridgetown at a location other than a bus stop, also an offence under the rules and regulations of the BDF. In her opening statements, prosecutor Captain Sandra Blackman said the camouflage suit was found in the trunk of a car driven by Private Bancroft. This was during a lockdown called after the camouflage suit was reported missing. The vehicle was not owned by Private Bancroft, but by a private legal A. The tribunal reconvenes at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Presiding is Major Christopher Birch, while Sub-Lieutenant Rita Evans is defending Private Bancroft. 4 St. Lucie men charged with the murder of Charlie Doom have been remanded to Her Majesty's Prison at Dodds. Doom was shot while at a bar on the corner of Nelson Street and Wellington Street, St. Michael on Friday, April 25th, but later died at the QEH. Police say 25-year-old Xavier Ronaldo Walks of Archers Road, Crab Hill, 26-year-old Rory St. Clair Thomas of Grape Hall, 22-year-old Shane Akeem Omar Bab of Friars Well, and 33-year-old Ryan Omar Samuel of Grape Hall were all remanded to prison until June 2nd. This followed their appearance in the District A Magistrates Court today. Police say Samuel, who was the subject of a wanted persons notice, is currently on bail for the offence of murder in relation to the stabbing death of Rico De Pisa. That incident occurred on the 21st of May 2011 at Speightstown in St. Peter. 35-year-old Andre Omar Jackman, aka Punchies of Stroud Bay, Crab Hill, was also charged for murder in relation to the death of Charlie Doom. Come tomorrow, 3,728 Class 4 students are expected to write the Barbados Secondary Schools Entrance Examination, commonly known as the 11+. And in the days leading up to the test, teachers, parents and others have been using different methods to try and inspire the children to do their best. This was part of the motivation behind a screening for mainly children of the local movie Chrissy. It was held yesterday at Kensington Oval. Now, the special showing, according to organizer and motivational speaker Errol Griffith, was an effort to inspire students and to show them that hard work pays off. He tells CBC News the turnout was better than expected.
I remember, the start time is 5 o'clock, and when we saw the first sets of families coming with children, and a number of children at 4:10, I actually got goosebumps. It was like, okay, wow, we felt that God said do this. We stepped out in faith doing it, knowing that we had so many factors that were not as we would have liked it, and people came and people enjoyed it.
Some of those who watched the film said Chrissy has a powerful message for children and adults.
I prayed that this movie would get out there so it would inspire teachers to do more, go beyond where they see the need and address the need.
I must say this movie was very impactful, especially for the younger ones.
The second time I've seen this movie, and it's a very excellent movie to watch. I recommend it to anyone. It really targets our young people today. It targeted racism, bullying, and just encouraging them to stand up for what they believe and what is right.
The film Chrissy has been truly inspiring for me. I grew up in the same area where they filmed Chrissy, and Mr. Pringle taught me at school as well. And the thing that struck me the most was how relatable Chrissy's story was for the average child.
I think it's an inspiration to any young person that show them that, once you put in the hard work, we also saw Chrissy putting in hard work, and I think that is important.
In related news, MP for St. Michael Northwest, Chris Sinclair, says in recent years, primary schools in his constituency have been reporting improved common entrance results, a trend he would like to see continue. He spoke as he visited St. Stephen's, Deacons and Eagle Hall primary schools to speak to students ahead of tomorrow's examination. Mr. Sinclair says it's an annual motivation exercise to encourage the 11+ students to do well. He says this is part of a larger package prepared for the children.
Two things that we do. We normally take the students for a fun day at Casa Grande every year, and we're going to be doing that again this year on the 16th. So they have something to look forward to after all of that hard work is done. But then more substantially, we do the Lost on Week Scholarship Program, which is of course a scholarship that is given to 14 students in the area in the name to memorialize the late Lawson Weeks, who's the former Speaker of the House of Assembly and Member of Parliament for this area. And we give the top students from each school, boy and girl, and of course the most improved students as selected by the teachers who monitor their work.
And the West Terrace Primary also received a visit from the MP for the area ahead of tomorrow's examination. St. James South MP Donville Innes told the students the examination is only the beginning of a process in their lives. He maintained that there were other values that contributed to their development into good men and women. He also praised the teachers for continuing to work hard to prepare students for the exam.
I don't think sometimes some of your parents recognize the tasks that teachers have in taking care of you from 8 in the morning to maybe 4 in the afternoon, As parents, we go off to work, we drop the kid, you children to school, and we don't have to bat an eyelid or worry about anything. Very few parents actually get a call during the day saying something is wrong with the children, etc. And I think that is great testimony to the quality of teachers we have in our school system who do, generally speaking, care about the welfare and well-being of our children.
Students of the Aline School have been urged to constantly strive for excellence and to follow the selfless example of the school's founder, Sir John Gay Aline. The advice came from past student Paul Waith, who is the export manager at the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. The occasion was the school's annual Founders Day service. Ryan Broom reports.
Addressing students, staff, and specially invited guests in the school's auditorium, Mr. Waith said Sir John Gay Aline exemplified inventiveness, diligence, and creativity when he established the school. He said Sir John positively used his position as a politician and public benefactor to benefit the poor in particular.
All students need to understand that providence and demonstration of excellence is expected of them. The culture of the school is not in the building, it's in the norms and values passed on from old to new members. We need to understand our role in building a tradition, a culture that we can all stand proudly behind.
Mr. Waith also wants to see the 229-year-old school return to its former dominance in the area of sports.
The Alling School once was dominant in hockey, in athletics, in hurdling, in netball. We collectively need to work with the students to regain that dominance in the Barbadian landscape.
Meanwhile, 2 past students were presented with awards for their contribution to the school. They included retired Chief Magistrate Clyde Nichols and retired General Nurse Cleopatra Blackett Spencer. Mr. Nichols also had some words of advice for the students.
All that is required of you is to respect authority, do your schoolwork, respect other people's property, stay away from bad company, choose your friends carefully, and stay away from illegal drugs and illegal firearms, and use your time wisely. Remember, there is no quick fix in life. Nothing that comes from man is free. Everything has a price tag on it. If you do not pay today, you will have to pay tomorrow.
Ryan Broom, CBC News.
A group of policemen has been trained in new strategies being employed by the Drug Abuse Resistance Education, or DARE program. And they've been told that the key to achieving success in the drug fight is to focus on children, especially those between the ages of 4 to 14. The advice from Timothy Williams, country attaché for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, during the closing ceremony for the DARE program at the Regional Police Training Center.
If we can get to them early and we can convince them that the use of drugs, getting involved in a gang, or trafficking drugs on the oceans, bringing them into other islands or even Barbados, if we can get to them and get them the knowledge and make them understand how dangerous it is, they will not be dealing with you or I in the future. They will grow up to be successful citizens that, just like yourselves and the gentleman sitting before you, will be able to give back to their community instead of sitting behind bars wasting away.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Oral Williams says he's pleased to see the program also includes ways to help children deal with the challenges they may face in schools.
We are being made aware of the bullying, the assaults, the thefts, damage to property, and the list goes on. How are the victims of these acts expected to respond in the school environment? Should they respond with like violence? Then they are the perpetrators. How should they be dealt with in the school environment? So you will observe that you have your work cut out for you over the next few years. Yours will be one of challenge in ensuring that viable options are made available to the children of our nation.
It was a rare sight that greeted St. Elizabeth Village, St. Joseph resident Randall Mears over the weekend. A friend alerted him on Saturday to what turned out to be a fully grown monkey dead on an electric pole. Mr. Mears says he saw it when he emerged from church about 12:30 in the afternoon, and it wasn't there when he went in. What surprised him, though, was that it did not result in a power outage in the village.
After service finished, I said, Venice. After service finished, I was in church, and this guy came to me, named Samuel, and he told me that, "Can me show you a monkey up on the pole?" But then I said, you really making, you serious? So then I went up there and I saw the monkey up on the pole with the mouth holding up on the wire and wrap on up on the pole.
The monkey was eventually removed from the pole by workers from the Barbados Light and Power Company Limited. Mr. Mears says the rural community has lots of fruit and other trees which provide a haven for families of monkeys, and they're a major nuisance for small farmers.
You can plant things, but you ain't got too sure you can get them, you can reach them, especially plant cucumbers and things. Anything that monkeys like, they will move it. Mangoes and everything, I got mangoes there in the tree. And the monkey don't let the mangoes stand in the tree. Monkey knock off all the mangoes. I try catching them, but I don't think it makes sense no, because I see so much young monkeys now. That ain't funny. So much young monkeys. But in the morning, you go in, you can see Wherever you turn, there's monkeys in the trees, running all up and down. Can't you count them?